With a WrestleMania opponent pitched for Brock Lesnar and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Recalling how he would take pot shots at The Rock back in the day, Dogg noted on his Oh You Didn't Know podcast, "It felt very important to me to keep his feet on the ground, and I did so because I was jealous of him, and I didn't like him and boo on you. But look, he could cut a promo, he could wrestle, he looked great, you know what I mean? He's the total package on the reel, and I wasn't that, and so I was very jealous of him, and I've told him that and apologized since. But it still doesn't take away the fact that I took it upon myself to keep his feet on the ground, and I did that with verbal abuse and pot shots in the ring too, you know what I mean? Like, he knew that when they were there and he would bring it back and we would, kind of do you and left it all out in the ring for sure, but I took it upon myself to keep his feet on the ground, and that was not my place, and I'll forever apologize for that to him. But it was just, we were just in the ring wrestling, and I'm in the ring with you, dude, so you're equal to me, you know what I mean? And look, and like I said, in retrospect, I see we're not equal. We're not equal as far as intellectual properties are concerned, you know what I mean? In the eyes of God, you and I are the same, but in the eyes of the consumer, of the almighty consumer, we are not, and I understand that. On that same show, Dogg would also mention how he had a face-to-face confrontation backstage with Steve Austin. It was a conversation. It was not a blow-up. I went and found him. And people saw that, and people talked, and all of a sudden it turns into something. Really, it had nothing to do with Jeff Jarrett leaving. That was probably the reason for me getting angry, and I also didn't look. Steve held some personal feelings against Jeff, and I didn't think those were put away now, I'd imagine, but he held a grudge against Jeff about some stuff that happened in Memphis, so he didn't want to work with Jeff as his opponent. And in my mind, he had just come back from knee surgery, and I just thought Jeff was the perfect character, that Jeff was gonna bump his butt off for you. I just felt like it was a missed opportunity for everybody. Maybe it wasn't the hottest angle going, but it was something he could sink his teeth into and then beat Jeff in the program and move on to the next guy. I thought it was a good rehab program. That was not, however, the conversation that Steve and I had at all. That was just my personal opinion on the situation between me and Jeff. Speaking of Steve Austin, DDP would talk to Give Me Sport about how his storyline of stalking the Undertaker's wife was pitched to Stone Cold. When you're doing something like a stalker idea, they built the storyline and couldn't get anybody to do it. That's the real deal. They wanted Austin to do it, and Austin is like, F that, and he told me about that later, and I was like, you couldn't have called me up and said that to me? But the bottom line was, I thought they were trying to make us going in there, because there was no more WCW, but that was not the deal. The deal was, and it had nothing to do with me personally. It could have been Stinger, Goldberg, or whoever. Whoever it was going to get fed to whoever it was in the top angle, because it was ego and it was business. Explaining why he was not a fan of the match between Roman Reigns and Logan Paul at Crown Jewel, former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr. told Chris Van Vliet, "Look, I get why they're doing it. I wasn't a big fan of it. I will say this. He did his thing. Like, the dude can wrestle. He's done, I think, 3 matches now, and I finally watched the Crown Jewel match. I was so proud of the fact that I didn't watch it because I hate Crown Jewel. It's just the goofiest. It's a tricky thing. I get why they did it, right? I get why they brought Mr. T to WrestleMania, but I'm not a fan of it. Like, I would rather see wrestlers wrestle. I don't like that he videoed himself doing a frog splash. How serious are you? This is the old school mentality. How serious are you about winning the WWE Championship if you're going to hold a phone and video yourself doing a frog splash? It should be a singular focus. Again, it's an old school mentality, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's mine. How serious are you about winning if you don't have a singular focus on winning? It's not the flex was to power him up, like like show you how into it he is. Whereas this is like, I'm gonna bring everyone into my social media page and get even more followers while I do this. With The Rock being accused of steroid use recently, Kevin Nash would take to his Click This podcast to defend him, saying Rogan's latest thing is that he came out after Dwayne Johnson, saying that The Rock is saying that he doesn't use PEDs, and Rogan is telling everyone that it's BS and he is on PEDs. And I just want to make this point, and this is my point and it's my opinion. Performance-enhancing drugs are just that. They enhance your performance. Testosterone replacement therapy brings you back the hormonal levels that you had in your mid-30s. I am on testosterone replacement therapy. If you take my blood, my testosterone level will probably be dependent on how far from my injection, between 780 and 1000, somewhere in between there. The sweet spot is about 850 for me. I also have my free testosterone, which will probably be around 18. I have to take an anti-estrogen because if not, my estrogen will go through the roof. I weigh the same every day. I'm in no way stronger, no way faster, nothing to do with performance, except my blood lipid panel is amazing for my age, especially for my genetic predisposition. My HDL, which is your good cholesterol, last time was 42. That's nothing to brag about, but it's above 40. My LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, is 55. Total cholesterol was less than 100. Triglycerides was less than 66. C-reactive protein, which is the inflammation that's throughout your body and into your heart and veins, was like 0.7. I'm very beyond low risk. But all of these things only happened after I started to do testosterone replacement. Yes, I am leaner than I was, but I'm nowhere like I was when I was taking steroids, when I was trying to look like Master Blaster Steel. Dwayne is 50. If he's taking anything, it's done by a doctor. He's getting either cypionate or enanthate, it depends. Cypionate is closer to your regular testosterone, your natural testosterone, but the enanthate lasts longer. Yeah, I mean, Dwayne looks great, but somebody like Dwayne, number one, he's very disciplined, but he's also very wealthy. So I don't think that Dwayne is getting up in the morning as he gets the crust out of his eyes at 4 a.m. is deciding if he's going to scramble egg whites. I mean, he gets up, takes an ice cold shower, probably does 20 minutes of cardio with nothing in his stomach except coffee, and then has his pre-workout and goes in there and trains a body part. I watch him. He doesn't train super heavy, but strict supersets with constant tension on the muscles. He knows what he's doing. He's in his own zone, gets out of there, and the rest of the day he's eating optimally. He's not missing meals, he's not missing macros to look the way he does all the time. Instead of bashing somebody, just tip your hat to their discipline. It seems an NXT star could be in line for a move to the main roster, as Fightful reported that we've heard Von Wagner's name mentioned as someone who has been pitched for a possible call-up in the past. We haven't heard that definitely will happen, but the company did already get several looks at him on main event, and he was briefly slated for a call-up last year. We're told that there will be a more slow and steady flow of NXT talent brought up to the main roster going forward, and to expect less years-long evaluation periods in NXT. Staying on the topic of call-ups to Raw or SmackDown, it was even said that it was reported recently that Cameron Grimes was considered for an NXT call-up, but hasn't appeared yet. Fightful Select spoke with several WWE staff who considered Grimes a natural fit, with one noting that he's been working television for over 5 years straight, and has great familiarity with producer Shane Helms, who does work on Raw and SmackDown. On his podcast, Kurt Angle revealed how he was doing following his double knee surgeries. He said, "It's 6.5 months from the procedure, and I'm almost fully recovered. It usually takes 9 to 12 months, but I'm there. I'm really happy. My legs are stronger now than they were before surgery. They don't want me to run yet. Probably in another month or two, I'll start running again. But I'm not allowed to run very far. I can't run more than 2 miles. When it comes to his rumored return to WWE following his departure from AEW, PW Insider reported that WWE sources have confirmed William Regal has officially come to terms on his new position with the company and will start the first week of January. We are told Regal will have a vice president position in the company when he returns, but we have not heard what his official title/role will be. Touching on his release from WWE, William Regal explained to ITR Live in October, "Mr. McMahon was very good to me, to the point of, I will say this because whatever he's going through, he was excellent to me. I had a talent contract as well as an employee contract, and it didn't run out until the end of April because I played William Regal. I started for AEW on the 7th of March. I didn't call anybody else. I sent a message straight to the boss. Hey boss, I've got this thing with Brian," and he loves Brian as well. "Absolutely, you go," and still paid me until the end of my talent contract. I was the only person who ever got paid by both companies at the same time. According to a recent report, a new opponent has been pitched for Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 39, with it said that after asking someone who is familiar with the creative plans, WrestlingNews.co was told that Lesnar vs. Gunter is one of the matches listed internally for the show. Gunter has talked about wanting the match because he feels that a match with Lesnar would present the biggest possible challenge for him. Speaking of that interview from November, Gunter had told Central Illinois Proud that Lesnar is a dream match. "If I had to pin it down to one name, I'd say it's Brock Lesnar at the moment. When I was young and watching WWE, I enjoyed watching his matches. Later on, when I progressed in my career, I was able to watch wrestling and analyze how people work. He's always been somebody I was impressed with. He's one of the best to ever do it. I think that's the biggest possible challenge for me at the moment." Mandy Rose is women's NXT champion, but that wasn't the reason she was trending on Twitter. Alleged pictures and videos from her exclusive fan page started circulating on the web. Mandy Rose has yet to comment on the leaks. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.